overall to plant organisation. So, we might have heard of obviously humans and animals having organs, but do we know that there's plant tissues as well? So if you look for a section of a leaf, that you might think, you might not have thought anything of it really. Okay, so if you look for a leaf, you get a celery leaf next time you or stem, so you eat it, have a look through it. Okay, because we're going to go through what exactly is in a plant, a lot more interesting you probably think. Okay, so we'll start with the leaves first. Right, okay, so this is the thing I advise to draw this and make notes on it. Okay, so really I suppose the most major organ in the plant, I know it sounds weird to say organ of a plant, is actually the leaf. Okay, so it's responsible for photosynthesis. So if you remember photosynthesis, I'll just get my pen turned on here. So you remember about photosynthesis is, we need to remember this for the exam too, is we take CO2, so carbon dioxide is taken in, water is taken in, so H2O. Okay, so it goes to oxygen plus glucose. So this is photosynthesis. Okay, just to remind everybody. Okay, so each leaf is formed of several tissues. So the leaf itself, or leaves, are organs and they're formed of tissues. Okay, and each one has a specific function for the leaf. So yeah, there's lots of questions that could be asked about things to the leaf. If you watch some of my exam videos, talk about different parts of a leaf and things like that. Okay, so we're going to start to the edges. So top and bottom of the leaf is the epidermal tissue. So you might have heard your skin called epidermis. Okay, and that's actually what it's called as well, the upper epidermis. Okay, epi means sort of the top of, okay, sort of surface. So the upper and lower epidermis, we're still talking about a leaf, remember, I'm just saying it sounds like our skin. They secrete, so sort of give out, it literally is a waxy substance. So if you go to a lot of leaves, especially sort of rainforest plants, so where they grow where it rains quite a lot, they definitely have like a waxy coating on, like some plants where they're shiny, they look like. Okay, but it's it doesn't really look like anything, it's transparent, so you can see through it. So the waxy coating is thin enough, okay, and the upper epidermis is thin enough for light to penetrate through them. Because some leaves have got like a thicker layer than other ones. There are lots of like so actually that epidermis is actually, there's reasons for it. Obviously, it's to protect the plant from pathogens getting in the waxy surface. Also, it's about to waterproof the leaf. Yeah, so in areas where it rains a lot, plants will often have a thicker upper epidermis, and basically it doesn't rain as much, so that it will literally just sort of fall off the leaf. Okay, so remember the leaves don't take in water. They don't want to take in water, a leaf. Okay, so you've got the middle layer. So this is a very, very important part. Okay, it's called the palisade mesophyll. Okay, so mesophyll means middle of the leaf, middle layer. Okay, so this is the palisade, not the spongy, the palisade. So if you look, it's highlighted in red. So the palisade mesophyll, it's highlighted a bit more. Okay, it's highlighted there. So it's all of this bit. Okay, so the cells look like they're sort of standing up. Okay, sort of like soldiers, I think it look like. So the palisade contains cells in many, so little green bits of chloroplasts. So this is to absorb lots of sunlight. Okay, so this bit at the top is one cell thick, and light can get through this. Okay, it's upper epidermis, light can get through this and go on to the palisade mesophyll. Okay, where lots of photosynthesis happens. So now we're getting to the other middle part of the leaf, the spongy mesophyll. Okay, spongy mesophyll. It's called spongy because it has holes. There's just literally like holes in it. These are holes here where there's no cells. So it's like a sponge, like you used to wash your car with or something, or to wash your dishes with. So the spongy mesophyll contains cells with a big surface area for gas exchange. So gas exchange takes place Okay, you can see there's lots of room for gas in the spongy mesophyll. So gas exchanges, let's remember what gas exchanges. So carbon dioxide comes in, so CO2 comes in, oxygen goes out. Okay. Right, I'm going to do a bit of talk a little bit about on the next bit. We'll talk about the xylem and the phloem. Talk about a little bit about stomata. So stomata, okay, are holes in the leaf here. Okay, so they are the holes that allow gases in and out. Okay, guard cells, you can see here, are the actual cells, okay, which control the opening and closing of stomata. That's often a very common asked question in exams about the guard cells and about how they let gas in or out. Okay, so they also let water out, but we'll talk about that. So in the center of the leaf, so we're going to go over here a bit of the xylem and phloem tissues. So we're going to go into more detail of these. So xylem tissues carry water and dissolve mineral ions from the roots at the bottom to leaves. Okay, so phloem carry dissolved food, so glucose, from the leaves to the rest of the plant. Okay, so this one is for you to sort of copy and complete. Okay, so yeah, I'll just draw it out because we need to know what each part does. Okay, of the leaf. This is a leaf, remember. So let's have a look at the whole plant. So each plant is formed from 3 major organs. So each organ has a function for the plant. I think we've got the leaves already. So what other organs do you think you might have? Let you have that think for a moment. Okay, so before I go on, that's going to tell you. Okay, so we've also got, these are things you might have done at primary school. You might have just sort of thinking, oh, it's too easy. Like that. I know people, they do know it, but I think it's too obvious. So roots, okay, taking water and mineral ions. So we know it's in water, and mineral ions now at this stage. Okay, so we've actually got the stem as well. So that's for transport. That contains the phloem and the xylem. Talk about a bit more in a moment. Okay, the leaf, photosynthesis, we just talked about that. Photosynthesis. So there's also, I'm going to put a bonus organ on here, okay, which is a reproductive organ for the plant. I'm going to draw a nice colour one. Okay, so it could have a flower. Okay, that works, it's science, not art. Okay, so a flower, flowers, some plants are very big, pretty flowers. Some plants are small flowers. Okay, so often the bigger ones, the bigger, prettier ones are for insects to pollinate. So the flower is actually the reproductive part of the plant. Okay, so they're the reproductive organs of the plant. Okay. So then just think about, again, so this is just what I went over. So just have a think to yourself about what each one of these does. Okay, and we'll carry on. So flower just did that reproductive part of the plant. Leaf, nice and easy, carries out photosynthesis. Stem supports the leaves and flowers. Okay, so yeah, you can say support, yeah, for support as well. Root absorbs water and mineral ions. So exactly what I just said. Okay, so going into focus. So xylem tissues. So let's have a look. There's 2 different pictures here. Let's just talk about the xylem for a minute. So stem. So the xylem is the inner part. Okay, in stem, we've got the phloem on the outside, like we saw. If we go back to the, okay, so one part, the phloem is kind of upside down there. The phloem was, yeah, so the phloem was an outside bit there. And it's called the vascular bundle. Okay, so vascular, like veins, like in our body, same sort of word, vascular. So xylem are closest to the center of stems and roots. Okay, so we've also got the xylem in the middle of the root as well. So xylem cells are dead. Okay, hollow tubes, they're dead cells that carry water and dissolved mineral ions from the soil through the roots into the rest of the plant. So we talked about, think about trees, think about the outside of the tree, that the bark is that they often actually have the xylem, towards the outside. Okay, so they actually have a lot of these little bit just inside the bark is the xylem of a tree, and that's all actually dead. Okay, as they put dead wood sometimes, but that's actually the xylem of the plant, the tree. Sorry. So phloem. So the phloem is living. Okay, phloem tissues are furthest, the spelling mistake, from the center of stems and roots. So phloem cells are stacks of living cells. They're living, running through the plant. They carry dissolved foods, so like glucose, from the leaves to the rest of the plant in a process called translocation. That's important. I've seen that come up in an exam question, translocation. Okay, so you're going to drag and drop there. So this is, again, it's like you go back and read it, so I'm going to leave that there. Okay, remember the vascular bundle. Okay, actually I might do it here. Vascular bundle is both of them. Phloem is furthest from the center, so that'll be a phloem. And xylem must be the other. Xylem is one of my favourite words in biology, xylem. Okay. So why are these things important and what do they do? So we've got xylem, we've got a nice display here of xylem against the phloem. Okay. So I've seen so many students in exams, not really focus on these things. So this is a really good part to focus on about the xylem and the phloem. So the water mineral ions, so needing the leaves to react with carbon dioxide in photosynthesis to make glucose, its food source. So like how we need glucose, plants need glucose too. Okay, so remember that photosynthesis equation. So we had carbon dioxide plus what did we have? Have a think, what did we need? So it was water. Okay, carbon is the opposite of respiration. Carbon dioxide plus water goes to oxygen plus glucose there. Okay, so it's photosynthesis to make themselves glucose. So needed in all cells to hold the plant upright. Yeah, think about the big trees. Okay, the huge xylems. Okay, so the correct water pressure in the plant holds the cytoplasm against the cell wall to provide structure for the plant. So they have to start right. So if you don't get enough water, your plants will wilt. So this is all about this, isn't it? About they need enough water. So mineral ions are needed for the plant to make proteins and other molecules in the cell. So to make even the chlorophyll molecules, they need magnesium, they need nitrogen. So you might see on like the backs of like fertilizers. Let me just what I said. You might see NPK on the back of fertilizers. So these are all things. So nitrogen, phosphorus they need as well. Phosphorus and potassium. Remember, it's counterperiodic table. They also need magnesium. Okay, to make chlorophyll. Okay, so NPK and magnesium make chlorophyll. They don't have these, they get deficient, like how humans can get deficient calcium to make bones. Plants can be deficient too. Might get yellow leaves, might just not grow properly. Okay, so water mineral ions needed for photosynthesis to make glucose, and also the mineral ions need to make important proteins and other structures for the cell. So you need dissolved food, so that'll be the glucose. So yeah, needed in all cells of the plant, so the plant can use the glucose sugars for respiration. So we don't think about plants respiring, but plants make their own food. So plants, go through this again, make sure, plants make glucose by photosynthesis. They use this, they use the glucose for respiration. So think about a night and things. Okay. Yeah, they're respiring. They're respiring all the time because they've got quite similar cells to us. They don't think of plants respiring, but they do. Okay, so this is a check. Okay, this is an electron microscope. So it says in the center is a vascular bundle with the phloem and the xylem pink, the phloem yellow, xylem. So that's a phloem. I know it's look, the colours are a bit funny. And that's a xylem. Okay, so phloem transports dissolved, you could say glucose or foods from the leaves to the rest of the plant. Xylem transports water and mineral ions from the roots. Okay, so remember about being in the soil, the NPK, it's about being in the soil, okay? So this is another one, okay, so to think about, okay, so drag and drop the statements. Oh, sorry, drag and drop the statements, correct categories where they describe phloem and xylem. Okay, so made up of dead tissue. Oh, let's put my pen on again. So think about which one was made up of dead tissue. So let's put my pen on. So you've got the xylem. Okay, so I'd encourage you to write this out fully. Okay, when you do it, made up of living tissue, the phloem, movement of substances in one direction only. Oh, I have to go back and have a look at that one. Didn't directly talk about that. Okay, so one direction only, transportation. So this one would be, so transport of sucrose, so it goes round. Look. Okay, so that one, we've just go back to that in a minute. Let's put another slide. The strength of lignin is the xylem. Okay, so let's talk about the trees. Okay, that trees are strengthened by lignin. Okay, so that's why they've got that sort of woody sort of look to them. Obviously, trees. Some plants do as well, like banana. Like trees, bananas, a banana plant, but still plants. Okay, so movement is up and down the plant. So obviously that goes, okay, so that goes obviously. So if you think about it, we can actually think about that. They can, so the phloem is up and down. Okay, so we need to transport sugars everywhere. So one direction only must be the xylem. So yeah, so if you look for the next part of the question, okay, it gives you hints. Transports mineral ions. That was the xylem, wasn't it? And then we had responsible for translocation. Lots of forget about that word would be the phloem. Okay, so this I'm going to stop there for this video. But go over things, make lots of notes, especially on the leaf. Okay, draw diagrams about them. Okay, yeah, the leaf is a big thing, gets asked, especially upper epidermis and what different parts are. Okay, so it's thing to go through quite carefully because it is asked a lot about plants. People often forget about them, and so they put an exam a lot. But thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in another video. Good luck on all your exams, and goodbye.